Hey guys, today we are completely tearing down the idea that being quiet is some sort of weakness that needs fixing. We're diving right into this explainer to reframe introversion from what people think is a limitation into a massive, profound strategic advantage. We've got the data and the research behind the Quiet Playbook, strategies for introvert success, and it's absolutely fascinating. We're going to use this highly actionable playbook to uncover your hidden strengths across 5 main areas: the truth about introversion, managing your social battery, networking on your terms, the quiet leadership advantage, and mastering conflict and communication. So let's get right into it. Starting off with Section 1, the truth about introversion. And to do that, we really need to shatter a huge illusion about what it actually means to be introverted. So ask yourself right now, are you shy, introverted, both, or neither? It's a fundamental question, right? Because society always lumps shyness and introversion together, assuming they are the exact same thing. But researchers and authors like Susan Cain, they'll tell you that is a massive misconception. Here is the critical difference. On one side, shyness is the fear of negative judgment. It's totally rooted in anxiety. Introversion, on the other hand, is simply an inherent preference for quiet, minimally stimulating environments. It's entirely about how you respond to social stimulation, not a fear of the actual people providing it. To put this in perspective, let's map these traits with some famous examples, because they definitely do not always overlap. Take Bill Gates. He's a classic calm introvert, very quiet, very bookish, but completely unfazed by other people's opinions of him. Contrast that with Barbra Streisand, a shy extrovert. She has this incredibly outgoing, larger-than-life personality, but famously battles paralyzing stage fright. It just goes to show, even massive extroverts can suffer from debilitating shyness, while introverts can be completely confident. All right, moving on to Section 2, managing your social battery. Before an introvert can truly succeed, either professionally or socially, they absolutely have to learn how to manage their energy economics. This concept perfectly captures the classic introvert hangover metaphor. You know the feeling. Notice how an introvert's battery physically drains from social interaction, while an extrovert's battery literally charges up from that exact same party or networking event. For us introverts, socializing has a real, tangible, energetic cost. And here's the crucial part. If you just ignore your battery, you are going to hit social burnout. Psychology validates this as a real physical and emotional toll from overstimulation. The warning signs: a sudden detachment from other people, an inability to focus accompanied by super low energy, intense headaches or migraines, and extreme irritability or emotional meltdowns. Basically, you hit a literal wall when your brain just demands to shut down. To recover from, or better yet, completely prevent this exhaustion entirely, you need to implement these deliberate recovery steps. Step 1. Set hard boundaries and proactively say no to draining events. Step 2. Schedule 10 to 30 minutes of daily, non-negotiable alone time. Honestly, you have to treat this quiet time as a performance requirement, not a luxury. And Step 3, when you are burned out, reach out selectively to a good listener. Just someone who lets you process your feelings without any judgment or pressure to perform. Once that energy is managed, you can start applying it to your career growth, which brings us to Section 3, networking on your terms. There's a famous saying: introverts don't hate people, they hate pointless small talk. And it's so true. Traditional networking was built for extroverts. Working a massive room, shouting over loud music, collecting 50 different business cards. But introverts, they crave depth over breadth, substantive conversations over shallow mass contact. And the great news is that depth actually builds a way better professional network. You can actually use small talk strategically by deploying what we call bridge questions. These are absolute game changers that quickly transition a standard 60-second intro into a genuinely rewarding conversation. Instead of that tired old "so what do you do?", ask things like, "What's the most interesting project you're working on right now?" or "What brought you to this event specifically?" You could even ask, "What's changed most in your work in the last year?" These completely bypass the shallow pleasantries and invite actual substance. So how does this translate into an ideal networking format specifically for introverts? Well, Step 1, skip the huge, overwhelming mixers and schedule 45-minute one-on-one coffee meetings. Step 2, if you do have to go to a massive event, arrive early before the room gets loud so you can actually have some one-on-one chats, and then leave on a strict schedule to preserve your energy. And Step 3, utilize virtual networking via LinkedIn. It removes all the background noise and the stress of managing body language, letting you use your natural advantage of specific, well-researched, written preparation. Moving right along to Section 4, The quiet leadership advantage. Let's explore how these deep analytical and empathetic traits translate into massive workplace advantages. The empirical data from recent leadership studies is absolutely fantastic here. It literally proves that introverted managers match or even exceed extroverts in crucial areas like employee satisfaction, retention, and strategic innovation. That old corporate myth that only loud, charismatic extroverts make good leaders, yeah, that is officially outdated. When we break down the specific outcomes, the team dynamics are super interesting. Introverted managers really excel with proactive teams that need autonomy, simply because they don't micromanage. Extroverts, on the flip side, are better with passive teams that need external energy to get going. When it comes to decision-making, introverts are thoughtful and data-driven, completely avoiding the impulsivity you sometimes see in fast-moving extroverted leaders. And in conflict, introverts use diplomacy and private discussions rather than demanding immediate, direct confrontation. In fact, you can absolutely leverage these core, undeniable strengths in a job interview to proudly sell your introverted skills. You do not have to pretend to be an extrovert. Highlight your ability to actively listen without dominating the discussion. Pitch your strategic, calculated decision-making. Emphasize your empathy, your high emotional intelligence, and your capacity for deep, reflective problem-solving. Make no mistake, these are premium, highly sought-after skills in today's knowledge economy. Which brings us to our final part, Section 5, Mastering Conflict and Communication. Let's tackle the absolute hardest parts for many introverts: fighting fairly, assertiveness, and public speaking. In relationships and the workplace, friction often happens simply because of conflicting processing styles. The extrovert conflict style usually wants to deal with issues immediately and head on with intense venting. But the introvert conflict style? It needs time and space to process the hurt before formulating a response. Because of this, introverts can easily shut down or just agree to literally anything to make the conflict stop, if they get overwhelmed by an extrovert's immediate emotional intensity. But you can bridge this gap and navigate those volatile situations politely by setting some specific rational ground rules for conflict. First up, discuss your conflict styles before a fight even happens. Second, make an appointment to talk. Just ask, is now a good time, to give the introvert time to mentally prep. Third, complain about the specific issue. Do not blame the person. And finally, step away if you need to cool down, but don't let the conflict fester. Always commit to coming back to resolve it. And when it comes to being heard, whether that's in a fast-paced meeting or up on stage, remember that speaking up is a cultivated skill, not magic. Lean on deep research to conquer your public speaking anxiety. Knowing your material inside and out is literally your superpower. Use storytelling to connect authentically with your audience. In fast-moving meetings, speak just slightly louder than normal to signal that you're jumping into the discussion. And if you ever feel put on the spot, simply say, "Can we table that?" It buys you the quiet time you need to think and respond via email later. So I want to leave you with this final thought. How will you use your quiet power today? Stop trying to force yourself to become an extrovert. Own your natural strengths, protect your social battery, and step fully into your immense potential as a quiet powerhouse. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe.